Hey everyone, we got some great news for Apple stock investors as the company reported, or there was a report that demonstrated a jump in iPhone sales in China. So I'll go over the specifics of that news and explain and discuss what it could mean for Apple stock investors. So let's take a look.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So, according to Reuters, Apple's smartphone shipments in China rose 52% from a year ago, extending a rebound it experienced in March. So, that's great news for Apple since the smartphone is the flagship product. It's the product that gets people into the Apple ecosystem. Earlier in the year, Apple had been losing market share in China, so it's great news to see the company rebounding and alleviating some risk from those reports. Let me show you the decreases. So during the first quarter of 2024, the company's iPhone sales sank almost 10% year over year in China, according to the International Data Corporation. And the bulk of those losses came from January and February. The company's sales recovered in March and then recovered again in April. And given a massive promotion the company introduced in May, sales may continue rebounding over the next couple of months. So, as I highlighted, Apple's shipments in China increased by 12% in March and then another 50% in April. And that was a significant improvement over the first 2 months of 2024 when they experienced a 37% slump in sales. Further, sales may increase more as Apple launched an aggressive discounting campaign in May, and these were as much as $318 on select iPhone models. So Apple really turned up the heat in the marketing campaign in China, really signaling to competitors it's not going to be okay with losing market share in that region. And one of the reasons is because the iPhone is such an important product for Apple, doesn't want to lose market share. If you buy an iPhone, you're more likely to buy many of Apple's other products, including its services, which come at much higher profit margins. So Apple is willing to offer discounts on the iPhone to keep people in the ecosystem because longer term, those people are going to drive significant profitability for Apple. In the latest quarter, you'll see that the Greater China region consisted of 16.3 billion out of Apple's total of 90.7 billion in sales. Now that was down from the same quarter last year, where Apple had 17.8 billion in sales in the Greater China region. Those declines were worse if you look at it on a longer term 9-month basis or 6-month basis, where Apple's sales fell from 41.7 billion down to 37 billion in the region. So investors were becoming concerned about Apple's position in the Chinese economy and it not working well vis-a-vis competitors in the region. And so this news that sales are rebounding is really a relief to Apple stock investors because it suggests that, you know what, they do have some levers that they can pull to boost consumer demand for its products when they feel they need to. And so overall, the iPhone category had been declining down to 45.9 billion from 51.3 billion in the same quarter the prior year. Many consumers have been complaining about Apple's lack of innovation in the iPhone. Every year it's just been an incremental improvement, a little bit better battery life, a little bit better camera, a little bit lighter weight, a little bit better design, but no huge steps forward from this category from Apple. And that's opened the door for competitors to come in and take some market share by offering some cooler, newer features that are not available in the iPhone, or offering the same features but at a lower price point, and that's attracting some consumers as well. However, Apple has been hinting that it has a big AI release coming. It hasn't said it's going to be specific to the iPhone, but it can be reasonable to assume that this will be the year when Apple introduces some artificial intelligence upgrades to the iPhone, given that its voice assistant Siri could really use an AI upgrade, and that's one area primed to be improved with artificial intelligence. If Apple does introduce an innovation of that sort, it could be a catalyst to boost iPhone sales further. Many people have been waiting to upgrade their iPhones. Remember, 2020 and 2021, there was a surge in iPhone sales as people were spending more time at home and they had more money to spend on goods because they couldn't spend money on travel, at restaurants, at concerts. And so, with the increase in stimulus benefits that were added by most governments around the world, people used that money to buy goods and electronics, and Apple benefited from that trend. So, those folks that bought phones in 2020 and 2021, they weren't likely to upgrade in 2022. Maybe they would have in 2023 if there was a reason, a compelling reason to upgrade, but Apple didn't really provide people with a compelling reason to upgrade their phones that they bought in 2020 and 2021. And so now there's a several years backlog of people that are waiting for a compelling reason. So if Apple can provide that compelling reason for people to upgrade their phones that they bought in 2020, in 2024, that could drive a really big replacement cycle for iPhones, and at the same time, maybe take back some market share it's lost over this last year and a half to competitors with its lack of innovation. So this data point is good news, especially because it wasn't like Apple has introduced any innovation to cause this jump in sales in China in the recent 2 months or so. It was just due to the marketing campaign, the incentives, the price cuts that caused the jump in demand for its products. Now, the more beneficial thing would be if Apple could provide an innovation that drives sales. That would be more powerful. That would be longer lasting. That would be my preferred form of stimulating consumer demand instead of price cuts. I would not be as excited. By the way, I do own Apple stock. I would not be as excited from continued price cutting that leads to increasing sales. I would be more excited about innovation that leads to increasing consumer sales. So Apple stock is not cheap right now. It's trading at a forward price to earnings of 26.57. It's not expensive either. I have been saying Apple stock has been in this range of being just, fairly valued. You're paying a fair price for an excellent company, and that's usually been a good recipe for long-term wealth creation, is to buy excellent businesses at fair prices is usually a good strategy for increasing long-term wealth. Just to remind everyone, I've had Apple stock rated as a buy for some time now, and I will update that recommendation today on May 28th. And remind everyone, I still think Apple stock is a buy. There are stocks I like better than Apple, but Apple being an excellent business at a fair price is one that I also think makes it a good investment. Thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I know there's a lot you could be doing with your time and a lot of other videos you could be watching. So I truly appreciate that you chose to watch this one. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe or the like button. They'll both help me make more videos just like this one. Thank you again.